Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? Aww. I'm tearing up a little bit, bro. This is so cute, dog. I love Gumshoe. Yay! Womp, 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 womp. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Hmm? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? Looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Aw, too bad, but it's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, guess I can let you keep it. Thanks! I'll treasure it always. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here. I've got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bad. Aw. Earlier, I ate one of these with the Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe? Gummy is... Oh, she's sad eating. He was trying to be nice to me because I was going to get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. Oh. I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before, the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You always had a few things you wanted to look into. Also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright. I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Hmm? Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really isn't the bad guy. I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. Hmm? She wandered off while I was pondering. Good. Alright. Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose that has something to do with Kay? It does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. Sounds like you'd rather be left alone. That's something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that we need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume Yu wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window. But that smell is still here. Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench, but it's some cheap no-name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. Tch! It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl. You can have it. I was born from a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Angel. Same perfume as the one spilled in lobby number 1. So now we have the perfume Miss Yu wears. Just fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigating. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. So you were in this room the entire recess? Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier, you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in 2 different locations? Guess I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seemed to have a great dislike for you. Oof. Let's see, Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident. As I recall, Detective Bao was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard CC, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Kodopian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KG-8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay? I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu case than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he had turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. Oh, sad music. Oh, it's a lollipop. I thought you were smoking like a cigarette. Oh, lollipop. The honest truth behind the KG-8 incident. Faraday, you, and I. As you already know, we 3 were involved with the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group's secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade? Yeah. But the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then, what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Devore, and that's the motherfucker that died in the last case. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devore was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat. So that's why he got thrown in jail. And then he escaped. The boss man of the Amano Group. Can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. Can't be right. Probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do? Suspect Mr. Amano of being involved with smuggling? I mean, how else do you expect this bro to have, like, wads of money? And I don't know, for people that weren't here for it, Ernest Amano was pretty much the one who paid for all Miles Edgeworth's overseas stuff. Probably Francisca's, too. I suppose it would be quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Koshin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly. I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both. Miss Yu did mention that as well. About how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap. What kind of trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean you were fired upon? Jesus. You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident. I see. Couldn't protect CCU. The suspect was found not guilty. We had hit a brick wall as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KGA incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. But what if it was me? Not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident had to come to a close. We continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the results was always the same. Couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I is the lead detective. Took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as a defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring and she was defending them? Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason. Come to think of it, Miss Yu did say something to the same effect. Ow, my back. Doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just as despicable. You're so naive, little girl. Damn. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of Avant Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There's no limit to it. Only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young. But one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. This song's so sad. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG-8 incident and the second KG-8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rell claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of that trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason, huh? And so in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu. What was the sound outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Yow! It still accidentally whipped me in anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rell wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. You can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl. I'm not done talking yet. Yeah, shut up, Frank. What's different about this time was that the evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And that sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? My fault. That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rell about what was sent along with the white card, Rell had no idea what it was. Ah, and that's how Detective Batten knew that Mr. Rell was a phony. Thank you very much. I have much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what is this? What does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Guilty! Damn, look at all the evidence. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. Now I have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francisca, there's no need to further depress His Honor. I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence. Your Honor! Oh! Yes. Can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor. Do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. I will expect that the defense attorney has yet to arrive. She is busy with the investigation. So let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, we confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. I'll place all the evidence over there at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I'll go and confirm that they are all accounted for. This is the evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag. I mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just data about them. Be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a good look at all the evidence from the embassy murder, too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Don't pull your crop at me just because you don't know something. Don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. See, someone's still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, and envelope. And what's the organizer doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? I found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that? What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. You might as well flip through it, too. This gun, it was originally used to kill the Cadopian Embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? It's never crossed your mind that you use your riding crop for the wrong purpose? I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Macro was brought in that night as suspect and thoroughly questioned because a murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act of a film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I had thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera. The Cadopian's embassy security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the content of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gun was crystal clear. So the footage included the sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. Alright, organizer. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested, the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with a superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rail is not the real Yatagarasu. It would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rail was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. Yatagarasu's key. And he apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rel may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. He had a way to prove that Mr. Rel was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer was a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. It appears to be a key. A rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. The craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? Yatagarasu's key. Detective Bad said something earlier. Music's so intense. The Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Burn it, do do. Do 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 do. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep the secret key safe. As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That certainly is odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was the gun. Is this the key? But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rel. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. There is nothing related to the knife written in anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it's the fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take that fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francisca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret on its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courtroom.
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. Not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You know, look a bit closer, Francisco, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you finally caught up? And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces of evidence are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible. Even if that is what you want to believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife a little more in detail. Oh. I can't believe it. It turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key to the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key to aspect to this of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was holding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then the only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday, meaning that the only person who could be is the one who set the key in the first place, the great thief Yatagarasu. Then maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasu. And he was the only one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, oh, oops. I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Did it go? Where'd it go? The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rel committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you derelict in your duties? What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor. The most important piece of evidence in today's trial. Their surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene? There's something wrong here. The Yatagarasu stole it. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number dos. Ah, it's motherfucking Lang! That's Detective Bad, but who's he with? I've never seen that officer before. Not so fast! So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Hey, so you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at the crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? Damn. What was all that about? Who was that man just now? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? Looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. Ah, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zhengfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to retrieve the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. by visiting various police departments around the world. He has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. That guy is more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is how the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about the success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Ugh, boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Please, we are asking for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do will be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? Why aren't you supposed to know everything? You should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence? I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Detective Bad, did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu key are one and the same? What? That's impossible. It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rowe was not the real Yatagarasu. Sorry. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was in fact a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And neither one of us knew. And if neither one of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How do we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago, you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for? Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad. So that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more. Okay, we got it. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up. And find the truth behind this case. Let's do it. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. Sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. How many lollipops does he have? It looks like he's just one. But maybe it's more than one.
Hold it!
Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had said something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into the lobby number 1 together. That's all. So his answer remains the same as before, I see.
Hold it!
I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Miss Yu. Trivial stuff. It was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Yo. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then.
Hold it!
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. The gunshot Detective Bad heard was really one from the murder. Wait a second. 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 I don't... No, wait. You know what I think it is? There's a TV in here, right? I think where they're going with this is that the surveillance video, it has the sound of the gunshot. So what happened is that the sound of the gunshot was played on the TV. Because the TV was still on, too, when we ran into there. So I think it was the surveillance video. So it was a setup, so they were dead for longer. Because Gumshoe said he didn't hear anything, so it must have happened before Gumshoe showed up. Interesting. That's my theory so far, is that it was played on the TV. But they were dead for longer. That would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. Like Big Boob Clown case? Something like that. Something similar, yeah. Where it was played off the TV. Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else? Yeah. Is it possible that you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping the tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. I suppose with this detective, that's probably very likely. So the gunshot.
Hold it!
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away? Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby. And how did you know that it was a gunshot? In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know. I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was.
Hold it!
Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway? Yeah. Why didn't you attest to that earlier? When I saw Gumshoe was after I had heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed. That's exactly what Detective Bad told us before. However, is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? It just might be. No one knew about the knife as actually the Yatagarasu's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't yet. Yet that should be my angle of attack. Or yes. The balloon pop. You didn't hear the balloon pop?
Objection!
You didn't hear the balloon pop? Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh? So you knew about the girl's balloon? Yeah? I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up. I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? Huh, this fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, his auditor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that his honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway. When you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. If you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? What? Don't give me a so. We just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet, naive cracking. Okay. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were just designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What is that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean... Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound. Okay, so then you couldn't hear the gunshot. So, like, what's your point? No! I knew that was what he was gonna say. Then that means the scruff's face testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course you wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle. That's also why it's only natural. I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws within the logic. Not the other way around. The other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad. I was about to say that, thank you. You're welcome. If that is the case, then how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. Oh, but you... Yo. Give me that lollipop. It would appear that you have yet to realize that contradiction in your own words. Oh? How so? The rooms are soundproof as you say they are. Then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does this all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason. As to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe... Oh, the windows were open. Lol. It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? State of the crime scene? Wait, could it be? We finally get something for the window. Very loud television. Aha! It's all coming together. Boom! 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 It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through the barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from the defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. Oh. Okay. Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open bar window? Sound! Good job, Miles. So, no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the window in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. The missing piece of evidence is a video. That shows the moment in which Mr. Rao killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for recess. It brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! Eureka! The evidence that has been missing, created for me, is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? It's Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television. The TV. Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. The video player. There seemed to be a videotape inside. Looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached to the end. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but... Detective Bad, would it be alright if you would verify the context of the video? Sure. Knock yourself out. Alright then, let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing the embassy staff member should be at about 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. 30-minute mark. Okay, understood. It should be about right. Now, let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rel shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. This sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think you'll finally figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. What gunshot the Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard, and through where they heard it from. Now to show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was and through where they heard it from. Okay. I wonder where. Eureka! Eureka! If the door and windows of the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing as it were. However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. Well, the windows in lobby number 1, 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally the people in those locations could hear it. Ah, but then why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose. Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. When the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So that's why the tape was left running? You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. Must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Time to go get Manny. Oh, Manny. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. Perfect. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. Looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. All right. Final stretch. Let's do it. Hey, what are you doing here? Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for is already... Okay. Don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation. Okay, you got it. Detective Bad. Haven't we already found what we're looking for? If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do. Oh? You're more sympathetic than I thought. Yeah. Oh my god, look at that. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. We're finally back in the courtroom! Oh, I see. We even have a viewer in the gallery. And why? Even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander. I have a duty to see this case through to the end. No matter how it turns out. Oh? Is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I'm taking statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there is no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must have been, without a doubt, Detective Gumshoe. And that's all you have? You spent all that time just to say it was Detective Gumshoe again? Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion in this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there is always time for a rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of the court in this case, don't you think? How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony. My logic is correct, and I've already won. All I have to do is now prove it by showing who the real killer is. Everyone sans the suspect has an alibi from when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have been all thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from no possible escape route from lobby number 2, which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion: that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Whew. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeve.
Hold it!
Why does she laugh so much? We still have no clue. I think it's like a nervous tick. She hasn't said, but I think it's gotta be like some type of like nervous tick. The suspect? But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is there's no one else who could corroborate what he did since the snacking. I see she's done her research well, which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding. Yes, that's what I'm doing, Edgeworth! What's up, Otaku man? Bigger rack.
Hold it!
Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide. The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. But isn't it all possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden? That's the first place everyone looks, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. That's debatable. They looked into every possibility, you know. Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? Of course I'm sure. Why are you so certain? This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future. Yow! Not the common sense.
Hold it!
You may think it's unshakable, but to me there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one that's still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know something like that, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I suppose we've really reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking with you about the subject. Ah, but there are witnesses for you. There is your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for the little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess and was stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or a bailiff or anyone else. Was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor? By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during the span of time? Phew, what kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went in the lobby. What do you mean when it doesn't matter? From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard that gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when the gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception of when... Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1, care to explain how that could have been fabricated?
Take that!
That's that tape? Oh shit. She's doing her makeup like crazy now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. Can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ah, but I do, which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I can think of, too. After committing the double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Turned the television's volume all the way up and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe.
Objection!
Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew. Didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of this courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until only a little while ago. We're doing the Phoenix Wright bluffing tactic. That's right. And if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet we heard the gunshots clear as day. And that's it. End of story. But it's not. How should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? There's actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. I was gonna say, her objection is awesome. I like it. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Now, we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 is also open.
Objection!
I like that a lot. Yeah, I like her objection a lot. Probably just coincidence that they were both open at the time.
Objection!
Oh shit, they're fighting! It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window open in lobby number 1? The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. The person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party! The real killer in this double murder is... you, Judge! You did! Do it on the drop. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Shit. Miss Callisto, you. I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. What? You indict me? Oh, shit. Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she's the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet. But of course I'm serious. Because she's the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wait, that was kind of badass, Miles. Of course I do, Edgeworth. Damn. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although, I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right? It's funny, because we're the prosecutor still, so we're going up against a defense attorney. Oh, shit! Bam, 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 bam. I love the music in this game so far. You argue that the window was open. However, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full as holes as yours. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now this is the time to put the patent Von Karma perfect proof to the test.
Objection!
There it is. Shake your head, Miles. Pathetic. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss Yu? Ah! Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know. What? This isn't mine? That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Bad, you see. Miss Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much is for sure. That you are the one who gave this bottle of perfume to Detective Bad. And you're super easy to rile up. So, what about the perfume? Well, you were in lobby number 1. You made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window.
Objection!
Come now, I've already told you that it's just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window.
Objection!
There it is. The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. The most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. You mean, Miss Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway, is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could have only been through a thought up by you, Miss Yu. You accused me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this last testimony and wrap this absurd case up once and for all. Chillin'. Why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume was a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected. Oh my god, bro. Here we go. I mean, forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Yes, no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking information, I'll just draw it out of her. Bam, bam.
Hold it!
Gumshoe's the murderer. I mean, that's who they suspect right now. I think I already explained the significance of that earlier. You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume, but that's all. Now you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill. Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character. Do as you like, but as for me, I believe. You believe? I believe that you are the true culprit in this case. So Miles is only 19 right now. Francisca's 13, Miles is 19. My, you're enthusiastic. Of course I should have guessed.
Hold it!
I formally request that you desist in your attack against my mentor. Yes, or we'll sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth, or maybe more like a spread of gossip. Although your adamant denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire. How dare you? Say such a thing. Calm down, little girl. Don't let her get to you. Oh, why'd you have to ruin my fun? Well, shall I continue? And why exactly could you not have killed him? I was just about to testify to that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know, Edgeworth. God, your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand. Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we? Yeah.
Objection!
Hey, Miss Yu, you will desist in this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy. Sorry. Miss Yu, please continue with your testimony. Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly killed Mr. Faraday.
Hold it!
At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the only one who killed Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Miss Yu. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her. That's what I'm doing. Huh? I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. You're not supposed to know that. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said about your testimony. Sure, why not? I'll even say it as many times as you'd like.
Hold it!
Miss Yu, I would just like to confirm something with you one more time. Oh? About what? About what's going on? What's going to happen to Detective Gumshoe after this? I don't need to ask you about that. Because he is the killer. Looks like the number of wrinkles on your forehead have increased yet again. I love this. I love this sprite. That issue aside, Miss Yu, I'd like to ask you about what was the inside the bag. You sure it was the Yatagarasu's key, correct? Yes, I'm sure. Which is why I'm completely baffled as to where that knife could have came from. I think I've just spotted the road to a perfect victory. Finally, it would appear that you would have revealed your true identity, Miss Yu. Miles, her final statement. Yes, I know. All I have to do now is present the evidence. What is this? Ominous feeling that I can't shake. Uh-oh. What ominous feeling?
Objection!
Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing of the existence of Yagurasu's key? What's she doing? Oh, she did a little lip thing. I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would even now still feign ignorance? I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Yeah, the good name of your mentor, alright, bro? Oh my god, bro. Is this really how she's gonna get away, bro? Wow. I'll take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? Are you satisfied now? But of course, you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? You know the knife and the Yagurasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of a law enforcement and who would never have been any privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, there's something that the Yagurasu sent to the police. How'd you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Real off, he told me. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. And you fucked up. And you fucked up. And you fucked up. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transformed.
Objection!
Yeah, there it is. What are you saying? What you are saying is simply not possible. You fucked up. Oh, and why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife.
Objection!
I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication?
Objection!
Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information even within the police force, and is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Yeah, this is her nervous tick. She laughs. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. Miss Yu, I'd like to state that I also know how you know wow. I also know how you know the real nature of the knife. Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth, the secret behind the Yagurasu's key. Only one person would have knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yagurasu's key could change into a knife?
Take that!
There was only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. She was Yagurasu? And that is the person who sent the Yagurasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yagurasu herself. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief, Yagurasu? Miss Yu. You used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against criminals. Why? Why do something like this? Uh-oh. Oh, she's breaking. She's breaking. Oh yeah, she's breaking. Oh shit. Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into some place. You? Yo. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callisto, you. Callisto, you. That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Her earrings are pretty cool. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. They are pretty cool. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity. Which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. All I had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things, money and authority, just as all thugs do. I fear my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But didn't you say that you despise criminals? But do I really? Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using the Yatagarasu's key as evidence and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well designed as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. In order to get with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu's key just like that. He never noticed I had changed the key into a knife inside that plastic bag. Oh wow. He didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? Aw, poor Detective Bad. I thought it was Detective Bad. Damn, now I feel bad. It wasn't you, Bad, I'm sorry. I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you kill Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned why we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they killed each other. Then to trickle the surveillance tape. Yes, I'd actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the... You made bro kill himself? And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet. Oh, shit. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of who's first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Cotopian embassy staff member, Deadman. You ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad. I had Deadman killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? It can't be. You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. Okay, so are you not Yatagarasu then? What? How could this... You don't mean... You're working with Manny Cochin too, do you? Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. Well, she's not the Yatagarasu, I don't think. That's right, little girl. Yatagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet, you. Yatagarasu. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court. She's gonna dip, of course. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know the Yatagarasu has 3 legs? Do you know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. Oh! Oh! Oh my fucking god. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it. You mean the key was your real target? Even after I gave you such a great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Okay, Drew. Or you may regret what comes of your negligence. You two, get down! Bad no, bad no. My body, I can't move. Hey, mister, to your right! Oh! Oh my god. Are you alright, Francisca? Oh my god, I was actually like shaking, bro. What the fuck? That was so intense. Are you alright, Francisca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking. But it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? Oh, that gunshot. Yo, if Bad dies, bro, I'm gonna be so sad. That's a gunshot. Why does she have a gun? She's a criminal. She a criminal. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay, just got another hole in my jacket. They say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. More importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma, are you two hurt? Aw, he's being nice to us. I'm absolutely fine. I'm also alright. Thanks to Kay. I was gonna say, Kay just saved Edgeworth's life. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir? Detective Bad, sir? I'm sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened. From Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Aw, Gumshoe. Let's go, Gumshoe. Now, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops. Pops. Just called it Pops. Pops? Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. I'm gonna guess we're gonna run into you in the 5th case. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison. Oh, Judge, stop, bro. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. It was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give it all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Oh, what is it? What was it that Kay left for me? The proof of their friendship. Aww. Take a Swiss roll, Gummy. You deserve it. Oh, by the way, your life from now will be poorly paid. True. It's a courthouse special Swiss roll. Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you, after all. Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. Swiss roll, Detective Gumshoe, and Kay bought together. Oh, I love this. I love this picture, bruh. While the one Kay saved never reached her father. It appears that her sentiments have touched the hearts of this detective. He's so happy as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Whoop! That was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. Gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she? You only noticed just now? Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first... You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? Aww. I'm tearing up a little bit, bro. This is so cute, dog. I fucking love Gumshoe. This is so sweet. I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Aww. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid you must be going now, Detective. I mean, I'd guess Edgeworth probably pays him better than what Faraday was paying him. Roger, sir. And don't you worry. I'll investigate the next case we're on real well. I'll, be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Oh, bro. Honestly, bro, like, I remember in the first Ace Attorney game, they were talking about how Miles was such a bad guy, bro. I don't see it. I don't see it. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at the court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now my assistant. So, do you remember now? Yes. I remember everything. Okay? It's been a while. Okay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Gummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They really lived far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're all right. So does it all make sense now? You betcha it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently, and...
Hold it!
Actually, there's still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently. I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. Yo, but that's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? Wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. All right, then. How do you explain this? So, a way of disarming any security system the user's choosing. Yep, that little thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. This little gizmo was used by my father. Wow, Mr. Faraday wasn't a great prosecutor, but he was a really great thief, huh? Wasn't just a great prosecutor. Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed. And the Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu was spotted again recently. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. To the embassy? The Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card? Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto U lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy card out. But Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up, and I knew I just couldn't let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father's and Miss Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Kay. Kay, you're so honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you are planning to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman. That evil woman? You mean Callisto U? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Huh? Owe me for what? You literally saved his life. When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I am not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Then you mean... Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you. Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gummy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. Fellas? What is with this weird chummy relationship? Aw. The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Burn Faraday, Callisto U, and K Faraday. Oh my god, what is that word? The phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And the Yatagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. And then he walked into his prosecutor's office, almost died there, so I guess we're picking up right after the first case is where we're picking it up. Wow, W's. We actually able to finish that entire case today, W.